What's up guys, I'm Paul and welcome to my channel. So I'm actually sitting down and doing something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and something that a lot of you guys have been asking for, which is an Ecwid tutorial. Now this is going to be quite a long video, and in the description below I will include timestamps to all the different sections I'm going through. But even though this is a long video, I'm not going to be able to cover every single macro detail of the Ecwid platform. One, because there's too many things to go through in this video, would just go on forever and a day. And there's certain things such as integrations with third-party platforms or setting up apps and things like that, that I'm just not going to be able to show you. But this is going to be a process of basically how to use Ecwid to build a basic e-commerce store. Now on this tutorial, I am going to be using the Ecwid business package, which means there's certain features that aren't going to be available if you're using things like the venture package or the free package. So just be aware of that, and if you can't access this on your package, then you obviously don't have access to these features. So with the introduction out of the way, let's jump into this video because it's going to be a long one. Right, future me here, something I forgot to include in the introduction was I have also included later on in the video how to integrate Ecwid with WordPress as well, because I know a lot of you guys wanted to do that. Timestamp for that is in the description below. So just wanted to interject that just before you get into the tutorial. Hope you enjoy the video, hope you enjoy the tutorial. So let's get started. So the first thing is getting started with Ecwid. Now I know some of you may already be up and running with Ecwid, but if you're not, I'll leave my referral link in the description below, and it is very much appreciated if you go through that link, because I earn a small commission that enables me to do videos like that. So thank you so much if you do go through that link. But what you'll do is you'll go through that link and it'll bring you up to the Ecwid homepage, and what you want to do is click on the Get Started button in the top right hand corner, and then just follow the process to sign up. You'll need like your email address and create a password, and just follow that process. Obviously I can't go through that because I'm already signed up to Ecwid. So once you've gone through that process, you'll be taken through to the Ecwid dashboard that looks like this. I'll close the Ecwid homepage there, and this is your Ecwid dashboard. Now there is a short setup wizard that you can follow and go through, but I think there's actually a slightly better process for doing this, and this is the process I go through whenever I'm setting up an e-commerce store. And for me, the first thing you want to be looking at is setting up all of your settings. So what you want to do is go to settings, and it will bring you up to your store profile. And this is where you want to enter your store name, your company email address, set up your company address, configure settings if you want to list your products on marketplaces. So these are like things like Google Shopping and things like that. And then you can add your social media accounts here, and these will be included in the email notifications that's sent out by your store. They're not actually included on your storefront, just in the emails. And then you can also choose if you want your storefront open or closed. If you're not open for business, just click close store for maintenance, and people won't be able to access the front end of your store. So those are the basic kind of store profile settings. Then you want to set up your regional settings. So you've got things like your currency. I'm in the UK, so mine's set to pound sterling, your price format, and also where your currency symbol is. If you want it before your price, you use the prefix. If you want it after your price, you use the suffix. And you can also choose if you want to hide the zeros at the end by enabling or disabling that option. And as you'll see, whenever you make any changes to any pages on your site, you'll get this blue bar appear at the top of the page, which enables you to save all of your settings. Then you've got your weight and size units, so you set which weight unit you use, and also your dimension units as well. Then you can change your store language if you want to. Mine's set to English, obviously. And then your date and time and the time format. This is really important because you want this to be displayed properly on the front end of your site, and you don't want to be selling, say, in the UK with everything set up in dollars if you're primarily targeting the UK market. Then you've got some of your checkout options. So first ones are some catalog settings, so you can choose to hide out of stock products, or then you can choose the default order for your products that are displayed on the front end of your store. Then you've got some checkout options, so you've got minimum order amount if you want to have a minimum order. You can also have a maximum order amount if you want to. Then there's just some options for things that happen when people add things to checkout. So you can choose to require a phone number, you can ask for a company name, ask for a post or zip code. Basically, you just want to configure these to your store and the requirements you have for your checkout. Then you've got your compare to price. This is basically if you're doing a sale kind of thing in your store. So you can choose to display where you want these options to appear, and then you can choose what you want basically the compare to price to say. So you can see this was, so you could change that to before if you want to, and as you can see it changes there. And you can also show what that actually saving. You can either choose to do it as a percentage, or you can do it as an absolute value if you want to, or you can choose not to show the savings at all. Then you've got order comments, which you can enable in the checkout. And if you enable this, it allows a field in the checkout process where they can leave specific instructions about the order. So if you've got things like customizable orders or things like that, and you want information, you can have that available in the checkout process. Then you've got, if you're selling digital products, which are only available on the Ecwid paid packages, and you can choose how long the link is available for, so how many days in hours, and also the amount of downloads that are available. So if they can only download something once, you just set 1 in there and save it. Then you've got subscriptions. Once again, this is only available on paid options, and I think this is only available on the business and unlimited package. But if you do want to have subscriptions for your products, which means people can buy these recurringly, what you do is just click enable that and then follow the settings. You also have the option where people can add favorites as well, so almost like a wish list if they want on your store. Then you can edit your order ID, which is kind of an internal thing for you, what order number and how you want it to display. So if you click edit that, you can choose what either goes before the order number or after the order number. You can also manually choose where the counter starts from. So if you wanted it to start from order 100, you could do that. And then you can also add the number of digits in the order counter as well. Some cool little options there. Then you've got related products. So if you want these displayed on your product page, which is basically permanently enabled on your store, but you can also add it on the cart page as well. For me personally, I'd keep this disabled just because I like to simplify and basically remove as many distractions from the checkout process as possible. But if you want to do cross-selling, then this may be an option that you want to consider. Then you've got all your newsletter options, but for this you are going to have to link up to MailChimp in order to be able to actually run newsletters through your Ecwid store. And then you've got tips and gratuity. So this allows people to actually leave tips for you during the checkout process if they feel you've done an awesome job. And you can set this up for yourself. Then at the bottom of pretty much every single Ecwid page, you'll have these options here, which is something relating to the page that you're actually on, something you can either install or an option that you can activate. So once you've gone through your checkout settings, you can then set up your tracking and analytics. And on this page, you can add things like your Google Analytics ID, any kind of tracking IDs that are available from social networks such as Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat. And then at the bottom, you can choose to add a custom tracking code on order confirmation page. You can also choose to have a GDPR cookie banner present on the front end of your store as well. And if you're in the UK or the EU, this is something you definitely want to have activated on your store. So those are the basic store settings. Then you've got other options that are available. So you've got all of your taxes. So we'll leave this page. And this is where you set up all the taxes for your store. One cool feature with Ecwid is they have automatic taxes. So you can just enable this and it will calculate taxes based on where your store's based and also where your customer's based as well. And from what I've tested in my demo store, this does work quite well. You can also set up manual taxes as well if you want to. You can choose how the taxes are displayed in the front end of your store. If you click on change price settings, you can either show the gross price, so this is the price and then you add the VAT or the tax afterwards, or you can enter the net price, which is the total including the tax as well. This is completely down to you which one you want displayed. You can set up tax invoices as well. You can also ask for VAT ID at the checkout. Now this is going to depend on the country you're in and also the kind of customers you're dealing with as to whether you want to set these settings up or not. Then if you've got all your legal options, this is a really important one. So you want to know where this is. So you've got all information about GDPR and things like that. Then you've got all of your legal pages and you do want to set these up before your store goes live. Now these are all blank pages. You're going to have to go and get your own terms and conditions, privacy policy, etc., which you should really do anyway, because you want these documents to be specific to your store and the products you sell. And you also want to have these checked by a legal professional in the kind of e-commerce field. So you make sure that these documents are secure and they actually cover you as a business. But this is where you go through and set up all of these pages. Now, unfortunately with Ecwid, these are the only pages you can add to your store. There's no option to add additional pages, which is something that is a little bit disappointing with Ecwid. But then once you've set up all your pages, you've got things under GDPR, so you can actually get access to your customers' data. So you enter the customer's email address and Ecwid will forward all the information that's held on that customer on the Ecwid database, and then you can forward that to the customer. And then what you can do is you can delete that customer data as well just by entering the email, and Ecwid will delete all that data off the system. Then there's other things around customer consent, so requiring them to agree to the terms and conditions at the checkout. This is a useful one to have. Then you've got also limited right of return for digital products, because these have different kind of rules and regulations around them than they do for physical products. And you can also ask for customers' approval to capture their email for marketing purposes at the checkout. Then a cookie consent banner, basically the GDPR thing that you could have enabled in the last page. Then you can request all the data that Ecwid actually hold about you as the store owner, because you may want access to that as well. Then you've got all of your notifications. So this is what's sent to the customer and also sent to you in email form. And you can go through and edit these and also choose which ones you want enabled or disabled. To just go through and work through all of these ones so they're custom to you and your store. As you can see, there's lots of options available. And then you can also add your logo to all these customer emails as well, so it's branded to your business. And then if you want to hide the Powered by Ecwid notice on your notifications, just turn that one off. Then you've got all of your admin notifications and things like weekly reports that are sent through to your email address, and you can choose to receive a copy of all customer notifications if you want to. And also you can specify the admin email address that's applicable to your store. So the next thing is the printable order. So if you're going to be printing orders directly from your Ecwid dashboard, this is where you can go through and edit your invoice. So it's custom to you and your business. So you can add a logo to the invoice, and then you can also choose what the title is and go through all these options, such as adding your business information, etc., etc. And if you are comfortable with things like HTML and CSS, what you can do is you can actually go in and edit the template code, so you can add custom things or reorganize it if you want to. But you do need to know what you're doing with HTML and CSS before you venture down that route. So next thing is customer groups. And this can be really useful if you sell to different types of people. So if you've got like retail customers and trade customers, this is where you can set them up. And this is useful further on when we start talking about discounts, because you can apply specific discounts to specific customer groups. So if you do have, say, trade and retail customers, you want to set up a customer group for each one of these options. Next is product types, and these are applicable if you're selling on things like Google Shopping, because it will require certain attributes, because it will need this information in order to list your product properly. So you've got things like your unique product code. This can also be your EAN in Europe, or things like the ISBN if you're selling books. The brand that it is, if it's your brand, you just enter your own brand. You can also add additional options as well just by clicking Add New. So that's how you set up your product types. Then you've got product filters. So we'll leave that page. As you can see, I'm not saving anything because I'm going through it, because this is just a quick overview of what it's like to set up the settings. So then you can add product filters to the front end of your store. Because your customers can search using filters, there's a special page on the front end of your store, which I'll show you in a little bit, that you can actually go through and set up. And you can choose which options are available in the sidebar as filters. So they can either limit it by price, or they can search by category or phrase, but there's also other options you can add at the bottom there. So that's the basic settings of your store, and you just want to work through that and get everything set up before you move on to the next thing, which is going to be shipping. The reason is you want to set your shipping up before you add any products, because it just makes the whole process a lot simpler and you're not going backwards and forwards. So let's go into shipping. So if you go into shipping, as you can see, there's different options available. You can have traditional shipping. So this is if you're posting a product out. You've got local delivery, which means if you just deliver in your local area. Then you've also got self pickup as well, where they come in and pick up the products from you. And I'm going to quickly cover each one of these different options. Now, before we actually go into setting up the shipping methods, what I want to go through is shipping zones, because this is the areas where you actually ship to. And you want to set this up before you actually set your methods up. But to actually do this, you actually need to go into a shipping method. That sounds confusing, right? Let me show you what it means. So if we go on to set up Royal Mail, and we can select any one of these options, what you'll see is your shipping region. And if you click on this, And if you go to advanced settings, you'll be able to manage your zones. And this is something you want to do, say, before you start setting up your shipping methods. So if we click on manage zones, yes, we'll leave this page. It'll take you through to being able to set up the areas where you actually post to. And you want to set this up if you're actually sending the products out, so it's a physical product, or you've got local delivery set up as well. And I'll show you exactly how to do this. Now, there are some options that are included as standard. So you've got US and Canada, Europe, UK, and international outside the UK. Now, these may vary slightly depending on where you're based in the world. You'll probably have your country set up rather than United Kingdom, for example. But if you want to set up a new zone, what you do is click add new zone, and we're just going to name this demo zone. So original, I know. And then what you can do is you can add individual countries if you want to by clicking add country, and this pop-up will come up and you can just check any of the ones that you want to add to this shipping method. You can also add regions in general as well by clicking on add region, and as you can see, you've got all your major regions in the world. So if we clicked on the European Union, it'll bring up all the countries that are included in the EU. And if there's certain countries you don't want to ship to, you can just go through and click the trash icon and it will actually delete these from that option, and you won't be able to ship to these countries using this shipping method. So that is how you can set up countries or regions. You can also set up individual states as well, which is under this option here. So if we clear the list, that removes all the options that have been selected, and if you want to close all these options, just click on add region again and it closes that. So then you can click on individual states or counties depending on where you are in the world. As you can see, this is set up to the UK, so these are all the counties we have, but you can go on and select any country that's available to ship to, and it will bring up all the states or counties, regions, whatever it's called. And you can select these individually as you did on the countries one, so you can either select these by using the check mark, or you can choose to add them manually that way. But you can also add region, and this one's a bit confusing to start with because you're like, why region again? But what you can do is add like states or counties in bulk in this method. So if you click on add region, as you can see, it brings up all the countries that are available to ship to. So if you click on the UK again, it will bring up all of the counties or states that are available, and you can choose to just delete individual ones of these if you want to. So that's how you set up to ship to countries, specific regions in the world, or even down to individual states or counties. So if we clear that option, if you clear list, it'll clear any options that are selected here, and if you just click on add region, it'll close all the region options. So the next thing is the zip and postal codes, and this is something that I've been trying to figure out in my head the best way to explain it, because it's not the most straightforward thing to explain, but once you understand it, it makes perfect sense, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. Now, this is what you'd want to use if you're doing local delivery, because you want to specify the certain areas that are local to where your business is to where you're actually going to deliver to. So you can actually do this by setting individual postcodes or zip codes, whichever one you use. So for this, I'm going to use the demo one for my store. Now, as you'll see there, I've done an underscore. That is because when you're entering zip codes or postcodes, it doesn't recognize spaces, so you have to use an underscore in space of a space. I hope that makes sense. So we'll put 1AB, and then you can go through and add all of these manually, but this is going to take quite a long time and it's not the most efficient way to do it. And this is where you can use the wildcard options that Ecwid include that are all described here, but it doesn't make the most sense unless you actually do it. So for this, you can use the wildcard symbols, which are the star symbol and also the question mark as well. Now, the star symbol replaces any number of characters in the post or zip code, and the question mark replaces a single character in the post or zip code. If that doesn't make sense, let me show you what it means. So if we wanted to include all of the postcodes in B1, what we would do is B1, go with the underscore and then press start, because this will replace all the characters that we've included here. So people could enter anything after the B1 and the space and it would recognize it as the B1 postcode. But you may be thinking, why did I put the star after the space? Well, if I'd entered B1 and then star, it would have registered basically any postcode that was entered afterwards, and this could include the B10 postcode or a B11, 12 and all the teens, which you may not want because you want it to be specific to a certain postcode. So that's where you need to put the space and then the star. But you can also use the question mark to replace individual characters. Because sometimes in the UK, people don't put the space in their postcode. But if you just wanted this to be limited to B1, what you'd actually do is enter 3 question marks. Because then they'll only be able to enter 5 characters in the total postcode. Whereas if you put B1 star, they'd be able to enter an unlimited amount of characters in that postcode. I hope that makes sense. So that is how you use the wildcard options. You can also choose to exclude postcodes as well. And for this, what you want to do is enter the symbol that is available if you press Shift and 6 on most keyboards, and then you enter the postcode afterwards. So if we entered B1, 1AB, it would actually exclude this from the postcodes that are available. So you wouldn't be able to get local delivery to that if you lived in that postcode. So I hope that makes sense. It's a very difficult thing to try and explain, because as I say, it's one of those things when you understand it, it makes perfect sense, but actually explaining it is really quite hard to do. But I'm going to go and do it with a zip code as well. So if we go down and then we go to 10118, now bonus points if you can tell me what that is the zip code for. So for this one, if we just entered that zip code, you'd be able to have local delivery to that zip code. But if you just wanted all the options that are available within 101, you could enter 101 and then the star, and then you could enter any number of characters after that. If you just wanted to limit it to the 5 characters, you'd go 101, then enter 2 question marks. If you wanted to exclude this zip code, you press Shift and number 6, and then enter that zip code, and it would exclude that from the options that are available when people are selecting their shipping. So I say, I hope that makes sense. If not, I do apologize. I've tried to explain it as simply as I can, but it is quite a difficult thing to get your head around. But that is how you set up different shipping zones in Ecwid, and these are what you want to do before you actually go in and start setting up your individual shipping policies. So now once your zones are set up, we can go back into shipping. So we'll leave that page and we'll go through and set up some shipping options. So what you want to do is click add shipping. This is if you're actually going to be physically posting a product out to somebody. And there'll be some predetermined options for your country. Now it does depend on the country that you're living in as to which options are displayed when it comes to setting up your shipping method. And obviously if you live in a different country to me, you're probably going to have different options available in this default list. But there are also a selection of other carriers that are available that you can add if you want. So if you click on this option here for view all carriers, it will bring up a list of all the carriers that Ecwid actually supports. And as you can see, there's a lot of options. Some are very country specific, and some of these carriers will also be able to let you set up automatic shipping rates as well, which can be super useful. But let's go through and show you what it's like to actually set up the shipping methods. So if we click set up Royal Mail, it's just the easiest one to go through. What you can do is automatically calculate rates from Royal Mail, and if you follow this option, you can actually link it up to your account. So if you've got an account with any of these carriers where they're automatically calculating the rates for, it will actually sync with your account and you'll get your personalized carriage charges that are available. But you can also set up some kind of default options for your store. So you can set up free shipping if you want to, and you can set up the name of it, add the description for your customers. So if you want to add a specific description, you can limit the order by the subtotal. So if you only want this available for, I don't know, if people spend £50 or more, $50, whatever, you can set that option here. You can also choose to show estimated delivery dates if you want to at the checkout. So you can show the estimated transit time, also how long it takes for you to ship orders out, and the days which you ship orders, and the cutoff time for your order processing, which is a pretty cool little thing to actually be able to show your customers. Then you can set your shipping region if you want to. You can ship to all destinations, which means it ships worldwide. You can click on the advanced settings and you can either choose any of the options that you've already created, or you can actually choose a zone on a map. This is more useful for local delivery, and I'll show you when we set up a local delivery. So that is all you want to do when you're going through this, is set up all the options, click save, and it will add that shipping option to your store. So that's how you set up free shipping. We'll leave that one. Then you can do conditional free shipping. So this is where you set a range. So if they order less than £30, for example, they'd have to pay a £3 shipping charge, but from £30 or upwards, it's free. Now I know this is similar to the limit availability by order subtotal, and it is basically the same thing, But the difference with this one is you can add multiple different levels to it. So for this one, you could add another row and say it was 30 to 90, they'd pay £1.50. But if it was £90 and above, they would actually get free shipping. So you can add multiple options to this. So there's different levels and different conditions for free shipping. And once again, it's the same options down the bottom. Description, you can show the estimated delivery dates and you set your region. So we'll come out of that one. Then you can set a flat rate. So if you've just got a standard rate across the board for all of your products, so you can choose it either by a flat amount or you can actually have it as a percentage of the order value, which is a pretty cool feature. And once again, same options down the bottom to set this up. And the final one is to set up a custom shipping rate. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to set a range of prices for your shipping. You can also choose to do it based on weight or subtotal of the checkout. So if you sell things based on weight, this is probably the option that you're going to want to set up, because you can do it based on the weight or the subtotal of the order. And then you enter the range here. So if we was doing it on weight, for example, if we was doing 0 to 5 kilogram was £5, and from 5 kilogram up was £10, you'd enter those options there. But if you want to get really, really complicated, what you can do is you can actually do it based on the range, the subtotal and the weight. As you can see, lots of different options come up. So you want to enter all of these options. So you can do it per order, per item, a percentage charge of the order, or you can do it per kilogram. As you can see, lots of different options available. This is the most complicated one to set up, and most people probably aren't going to use this. They're just going to keep it simple and go with the range only option. And you can see down the bottom, once again, the same options that are available in all the other shipping methods. So that is how you set up the shipping methods. You can choose whichever one you want, if you want it automated, calculated, or whichever option you want. You want to go through and set these up as the main shipping options for your store. But you can also set up individual shipping per product, which I'll show you in a little bit when we go through and start setting up our products. But before we get into that, what we're actually going to do is go through the other options that are available. So you can set up a local delivery, and as you can see, this looks basically the same as setting up the traditional shipping option. You can choose whether you want it free delivery, conditional shipping, flat rate, or the custom rate, and it's exactly the same page on the next one. The difference is this: you set up the delivery zone first, and then you can do the zone on the map, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if you click create zone, as you can see, it comes up with this option, and you can drag this however far you want to cover a certain area, which is pretty cool. But you need to know exactly where you cover in order to do this accurately. So we'll come out of that one. But for this, what you do is generally you probably click on the advanced settings and choose the delivery zone you set up with the postcodes you set up in the zone editor earlier. And then you've got the same options, but you can set your operating hours when you're actually available to do the delivery. So if you use things like, I don't know, a takeout restaurant or something like that, it might be later hours. If you use a florist, you might do something with normal business hours. So you can set the operating hours there. You can also ask for a specific delivery date and time. So this depends on your business as to whether this is going to be an option, but if you enable this, you can ask for a date only and you will then deliver it on that date, or you can actually ask for a date and a time slot. So if you go onto that, you can see the delivery length time slot, so you can select when it's available for that. You can also choose whether you do same day delivery or not, and how long it takes to actually fulfill your orders. So it may be that it takes, I don't know, 3 hours to fulfill your order. You enter that here, and then once you've gone through and entered all those options, just click save and finish, and you've added your local delivery method. So if we come out of that one, then final option is self pickup. This is if you want customers to actually order from you, then come and pick it up. And for this, everything is included under the order option, because if you actually go back onto this page, it says in-store pickup, curbside pickup, or drive-through pickup. But you set them all up in the same way. So if you go back into it, what you do is you select your instructions for where they can come and pick it up, if there's a pickup charge, and you can also request a specific time and date, just as you can with the local delivery. But if you've got specific instructions, so say it's a curbside pickup or a drive-through pickup, you'd actually enter that information in here. So you just come in and go curbside pickup, Then just enter whatever information you need to enter in order to inform the customer as to how that process works. So that's how you set up the pickup option. Very quick and very simple to do. So those are all the shipping options that are available. I hope I've explained that well. It's arguably the most difficult thing to actually explain on the Ecwid platform is how to set up shipping properly, and hopefully I've done a good job with that. Right, so once you've set up your shipping, next it's time to set up your payment information. Now, I can't go through and show you exactly how to do this because that would be setting up every single different payment processor. But when you go onto the payment page, you'll see the main options come available, such as Stripe, Square and PayPal. And all you do is click through on these options and follow the instructions on screen to link your account with this payment provider with your Ecwid account. But there are also some other options available. You can add manual payments if you want. So if it was like cash on delivery for local delivery, you could set that option up so people could select that at the checkout. You can also choose from additional payment options as well that are available with Ecwid. And to do that, you just click on choose payment method and all these options come available. And then you just click through and follow the instructions on screen to set up those payment methods. It's very quick and very simple to do, but once you've actually got it all set up, what you want to do is you want to test to make sure it's working once you've got a product set up, to make sure your actual payment gateway is set up properly. So that's how you set up your payment gateways. And basically that's all the options when it comes to your settings. So once you've gone through and set that up, it's now time to start setting your products up. So for this, what we're going to do is going to go to catalog. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on add new product, and we're going to go through the whole process of setting this up. And for this, we're going to do a signet ring. Now, for anybody who's ever watched any of my tutorials knows I always do jewelry because that's the industry I've been in for a long time. So you enter the name of the product. You can then enter the SKU code for the product. So we'll call this SGR for signet ring 01. Then you can enter the weight of the product if you want to, if you're doing shipping based on weight. Also, it depends if you're selling a physical product or a digital product as to whether you check this option or not. If it's a physical product, then you want this box ticked. If it's a digital product, then you want to untick this box. Then you enter your product description. So we're just going to call this a men's signet ring. But in here, you'd want to enter all the information related to your product. And then you can assign this product to a category. I'll go through the categories in a little bit. You can choose where this product is featured on your store front page. You can edit or add a ribbon to it. These are things like, as you can see there, it adds an option to the top corner of the product. So if we'd say new item, it would have that ribbon at the top of the new item, so you can help this from stand out from the rest of the products if on your store, or if it's on sale or things like that. You can also change the color to any of these default ones. You can also enter a custom color down there if you want, but I'm going to go with red on this occasion. You can also add a subtitle to the product as well, which would appear under the main title. So that's how you set up the basic description page, you could say. Then you can add images at the top. What we're going to do is going to add picture of a nice gold signet ring there at the top. Then we're going to set the price here. This is the main price for the item, so I'll set this at 200 for example. I'd love to see where you could get a solid gold signet ring for £200 for these days. That won't happen. Then you can choose where the product is actually available in the front end of your store. So this is maybe it's a product that you're potentially going to be launching at a later date. Then you want to turn this off, and then when the product is actually available, you can turn this back on. It's available in your store. And then you've got your stock control options. So you can choose unlimited stock, or you can select a specific amount of stock. So let's say we've got 10 of those available. And you can also have a notification sent to you when you reach a certain level. So if you only had 2 of these remain in stock, so when the level reaches this level, you'd actually receive an email from Ecwid informing you that your stock levels are running low. And then it's up to you whether you go and buy a new lot or not. So that is the main first page. And then you've got attributes. These are the things that are available if you go into settings, then the product types. So these will all display here. So if it's a unique product code, you'd enter that one, and the brand. This is only really applicable if you're selling on things like Google Shopping or things like Facebook Marketplace, things like that. You may need these things. But if it's just in your own store, you may not need these options. Then you can actually go into options. And this is where you've got options and variations. And I'm going to explain the difference between these two. So the first one is the options, and these are if your product has different options, so maybe it's available in different sizes, for example. And there's lots of different options available. If you click on to add an option name, we'll call this metal for the example of this product. As you can see, there's lots of different options available. And it's almost like I prepared for this video because I actually created a test product with all the different option displays that are available. So you can have a drop down list, you can have radio buttons, you can have the size one. I quite like this one actually because it's a little bit different to a lot of other options that are available. You've then got the checkboxes, you've then got a text field, which is a single line where someone can enter some text. So test text. This would be great if you had like customizable products or something like that, or engraving. Then you've got the text area, which enables them to add multiple lines of text if they want to. So you could go, this is text. Now the only thing that isn't available that I haven't found within Ecwid yet is the ability to actually limit the amount of characters that can be entered into either of these options. But what you could do is you could actually include it in the title. So you go maximum 10 characters, for example. Then you've got your date picker, which is a pop-up date. So you could choose like, I don't know, 22nd of October when I'm actually recording this video, and it'll enter that date there. If you're selling, say, something like a t-shirt with a customizable print option, then people can actually upload their files to your website by clicking the add files button, and then they can upload it from their computer. So those are all the different option styles that are available for the front end of your store. And when you're creating these options, what you want to do is you want to enter the name, choose the type, choose the input type. So for this, I'm going to stick with the radio button. So once you've chosen the option name and the input type, you want to add the values for it. So for this, we're just going to go with gold and silver for this one. We're also going to add sizes as well. So we're going to do size. And for this one, we'll actually use the size box, and we'll do P and Q, which are common ring sizes for men here in the UK. So once you've set your options up, these will be available on the front end of your store. You can also use price modifiers as well. Now, one thing I forgot to mention was the variations are only available, I think, on the business and the unlimited package. I don't think they're available on the venture package. So if you wanted to do a price modifier, if you was on the venture package, what you'd have to do is you'd have to choose it here, whether you want it to add or minus, and then choose whether it's a percentage or a fixed price amount, then add the modifier in here. But if you're actually doing variations, you can add custom pricing in there. So what we're going to do is going to create a new variation. So for this variation, we'll just choose the metal to start with. We'll say that one's gold, select a new image for it, and that is £200. Click OK on that one. So there's our first option. Then we could add another variation for silver. So if you add a new picture, there you go, nice and silver. And if we said this one was £100, we could also add a custom SKU code for that product as well. So we call that SGR02. Click OK, and then you have the two variations that are available. But you can also add multiple levels variations as well. So if we delete these two options and we add a new variation, so we say gold and we say price, select the image for that product and say this one is £200 as standard. We could select that option there, add a new variation where we've got gold and the slightly larger ring. We could say that one is £220 and add the picture for it and save that product. And then we can do exactly the same for the silver as well. So we click new variation, select the metal, silver, select the size, select the picture, change the SKU code if we want to, then set that one at 100. You can also set the stock levels for each of these individual variations as well, just by clicking that and selecting the same options that are available in the sidebar here. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to click OK. Then we're going to add another variation for the final silver ring, Q, add the picture, change the stock code, and then we're going to do that one for 120. No, it doesn't like that stock code, so let's change that to SGR03. Then we add that one. And then what this is going to do is going to add all these variations to the front end of your store. When I finish the product up, we'll go through and look at this product in the front end of the website. So that's how you can set up options and variations. I hope that makes sense. The next one is files. So if you're sending a digital file, this is where you'd upload the files to. Once again, this is only available on the paid packages. It's not available on the free one. You can then select your tax and shipping. So if this product requires physical shipping, you can enable that here. You can enter the weight and dimensions of the product. For this, if you're going to do this, I would enter the weight and dimensions of the packaged product, not the individual product itself. You can then select the shipping rates for it, so you can select your default shipping rate that you set up previously, or you can select a specific method just for this product. And if we select that option, you can enable a specific method or disable a specific method for this option. If you want to enable a fixed price for it, you just then enter that here. Or if this product just had free shipping but no other products did, you could select that option as well. So this is where you can set up the individual shipping options for your products. And then if you've set up your taxes, you've got some options available here. I haven't set them up on this demo store. Probably something I probably should have done. So that's where you can set up all the shipping and tax options for your product. Next, we have SEO. And what we do here is we can set a custom page title for it. So if we wanted to say that was men's gold signet rings, what we'd do is we'd enter that here and it would change the page title here. And this is different from the product title you entered on the general page. And then you can enter a meta description that will appear in search engines. So you could do men's signet rings available in gold and silver. I know that kind of contradicts the page title, but I'm just doing this as a demo, so don't at me. But that is how you can set up this SEO for your page. Now, one of the little quirks with Ecwid is you'll see the URL here and you see this P0. That will generate a random number at the end of your URL. I don't know why Ecwid does this. For me personally, as somebody who likes SEO, I wish I could go in and edit this, but you can't. It's just something you have to accept with the Ecwid platform. I don't know why it does it. It's just a quirk with Ecwid. But once you set up the SEO, you can go onto the related products. Now, these are the options that appear at the bottom of the product page. Now, you can select these options yourself. So if there's certain products you want to cross promote on this product, you just assign the product there and you'll bring up all the products that are already created for your store. And you go through and select all these and you'd add them to that option. And then that'd appear on your product page as related products. Or you can take the really lazy, easy option if you want, and you can just display random products by clicking enable. Choose how many you want to display and select them from whichever category you want. So that is how you can cross promote on your product page using Ecwid. Now, the final option is the buy now button. Now, this is something you'd only need to think about if you're embedding the code into a third-party website. But if you're using things like Wix or WordPress, you don't have to worry about this because there's apps and plugins that make this process so much easier for you. So that is the final thing, but you don't really have to worry about that unless, say, you're embedding it in another website. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to click save at the top. And then we're going to actually go and see this product in our storefront. So if we click open in storefront, it'll open it in a new tab. And when it loads, it'll bring up the product page. And as you can see, we've got the nice picture of our item. We've got the new item tag that we created. And also we've got the price. But if we select that one, it's the standard price, which is the £200. If we change it to the Q, which you can see, it changes. If we select the silver option, it changes to the variation that we selected, which is £120. If we change that to P, it drops to 100. So that's how you create a new product in Ecwid. And as you can see, there's our random related products at the bottom. Yeah, if I was doing this properly, they wouldn't be closed at the bottom, I can tell you that much. But that is what it's like on the front end of your site once you've gone through and set up your new product. So if we come out of this one, what we're going to do next is quickly look at gift cards, which is a cool little thing that's actually available in Ecwid. So what we do is enable the gift card, edit the gift card, and then we can set the gift card amount. So you can have it to 25, 50, £100. You can set whichever amount you want in here. You can upload an image for it, set the name for the card, set the SKU code, and then add a description. Then you can assign this product to a category. You can feature it on the store page, select a ribbon for it as we could with the other product and add a subtitle. And this is something that's going to be available for customers to buy and then redeem on your store at a future date. And then you've got SEO, so you can change the page title and the meta description. And the buy now button is only if you're embedding it in a third-party website. So that's how you can set up a gift card, very quick and very simple to do. And once it's set up, you can choose to enable it or disable it. Pretty awesome. And there's also options further down the page, so you can select the visibility and sharing options of your gift card. You can also select when they expire as well. So if you want to give a 12-month kind of limit on your gift cards, you can change the expiry date down here. Pretty cool thing to set up gift cards because it's a way of bringing customers back to your site. So the next thing we're going to do is set up the categories for your products, because this enables you to have a really good product hierarchy for your store. And to set up a new product category is really simple. Just click add root category, enter the name of it. So we'll enter men's jewelry, just for example. You can choose an image for the category. You can also add a description if you want. This has some SEO benefits, so it's actually worth going through and doing that. But for the purposes of this video, we're not going to do that. Go on and click save. Then you can add a subcategory by going on add subcategory, but make sure you've highlighted your parent category first. Click add subcategory, and then it'll say new subcategory in men's jewelry. So for this, we'll add men's rings. Once again, you can select an image for this category and then the SEO options. So once we've set all that up, if we click save, it will add that subcategory under the men's jewelry option. And one of the things we can do from this screen is we can actually add products to this category without going in and having to edit our products. So what we do is we go on category products, assign products to category. It will come up with all the options available. As you can see, I've got quite a few here. We'll select signet ring, add that product, and that's automatically added that product to our men's rings category, which will be available in the front end of our store. Now, one thing I do just want to quickly cover before we move off products is actually editing your products. If you want to go in and do that, what you can do is you can either choose to go in and manually edit your product. So if we find signet ring, we could go in and click edit product and it'll bring up this screen again. So we could go through and edit that, all the different options available. But Ecwid have actually introduced a bulk editor, which is an awesome addition. So if you just select that product and click on bulk update, you can either edit selected, you can choose to enable or disable it, add or remove a ribbon from it, choose to move it from one category to another, add or remove it from the featured product page, export it. You can change prices. This one you can only increase or decrease it by a certain amount. So the best one to do is go on to edit selected and it will bring up the bulk editor. And this is a great addition to Ecwid and one of the best things I've actually added recently. And with this one, there's so many different things you can do, and you can also choose which options are available here. So if we didn't want the name available, we just untick it and it would remove it from the bulk editor. But if we wanted it back, we just click that, and then we can go through it and we can change the name of the products, we can change the SKU codes, the availability, the price. And as you can see, there's also other options down here as well that you can add and remove from the bulk editor. So this has just made it so much easier and quicker to go through and edit your products in Ecwid without having to go through and edit each individual product like you used to. Definitely a great addition to Ecwid. Right, so now we've covered the product stages. I'm going to briefly cover marketing. I'm not going to go too in depth into this because a lot of this involves setting up with third-party platforms. But if we just click on the marketing, as you can see, there's options to get started with Google, sell on Facebook. But then you've got actual things you can do on your own Ecwid store. So you can convert abandoned cart to sales. You can create discount codes. You can encourage purchases with different discount codes. You can do remarketing campaigns. You can also re-engage with customers as well. There's quite a few options available from the basic marketing page, but we're going to go into some of these more specifically because what we're going to do is we're going to go onto discount coupons and show you exactly how to set one of these up, because you may want to use these for your products to try and get people to either buy or come back and buy more from your store. So to add a new coupon, just click add new coupon, set the name for it. So we'll go with test coupon. Super original, I know. And then you've got the coupon code. You can also generate new ones just by clicking on generate there. You can select the type. So if it's either a discount, it offers free shipping, or it's free shipping and discount. You can select the value of it. So if we do it for say 10, you can either have £10 off or you can select it for 10% off. So you can have it as a fixed rate or a percentage rate. You can choose when it's valid from, so the date it's valid to the date it's not valid to, and the limits that are available on this discount code. So if you want it on all orders or only available on certain orders, the amount of times it can be used, the kind of customers it can be used on, and also you can limit it to certain products or certain categories if you want to. So that's how you can create a discount code. But how do you actually promote this code? Well, you've got automated emails. So if you go onto this, you can see that there's certain emails that you can set up for your Ecwid store. So you can encourage a first time purchase, so you can do abandoned cart recovery. So if the customer's entered their email address in your cart when they've gone to check out but they've abandoned it, you can actually retarget them with an email, and you can also add a discount code to it. So if you just click on manage, you could click add discount coupon and then select any of the ones that are available, because if we actually go back into discount coupons, you'll see that Ecwid has created quite a few as standard. These are some pretty cool ones to actually add to your products, and you can go in and edit these if you want to. Just by clicking on them, it'll bring up all the options that are available in the new one. So if you could change this from say 10% to £10, for example. But if we go on to automated emails, once again, yeah, you can choose which discount coupons are added to these emails by selecting the discount coupon. So say if we selected that one, the discount coupon for abandoned cart email, and then it will send an email to the customer with this 10% discount code. So if they come back, they can save 10% on their cart. You can then add the social media links that you added in your settings if you want to, and you can also go through and edit the template of the email. But once again, I'm not going to save that for this video. But there's lots of different emails that you can set up. You can choose whether they're active or disabled, and then you can choose what discount codes are available. So you've got things like encouraging the first purchase, increasing loyalty and getting people to come back to you, or even engaging with customers who haven't been customers for a while. Maybe it was a year ago since they purchased from you. You can actually basically send an email to try and encourage them to come back to your store. And there's a little bit of advice down here to try and increase the effectiveness of your email campaigns. You can also do automatic discounts if you want, and you can do this based on the subtotal of an order. Or what you can do is you can add a discount to customer groups that you may have set up earlier in your setting options. So if you had trade customers, for example, you could maybe offer say 20% discount on the listed price for trade customers, and this is where you could add it in here. So if you clicked on the add a discount, you'd select say your trade customer group, and then you could select the amount that you want to give a discount and then choose whether it's a fixed amount or a percentage discount. Then you can actually get really complex and do it based on subtotals and customer groups. So say if you had your trade customer group and you wanted to offer them a greater discount if they spent more than £1,000 with you, that's where you'd enter it here. So you'd add the customer group, add the order total, then add the discount that's available. So that's how you can get a little bit more complicated with that if you want to. Next thing is the newsletters. So we'll leave this page again. Now to do this, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to connect with MailChimp. So you're going to need to go and set up an account with MailChimp, then link it up to your Ecwid account, and then you can start doing email marketing. So the next thing we're going to look at is actually managing your orders. So once you've got your store set up, you've gone live, you're going to be getting orders, hopefully. So how do you actually manage your orders? So if we go into my sales, as you can see, I've already got a demo order here. And one good thing about Ecwid, the order management is really, really good. So you've already set up your invoice during the setting stage, you've added your logo, things like that. So what can you actually do? Well, you can choose to print an individual order. You can also select the update option. So you can choose to view the order, update the status, assign a tracking number, edit the order, or you can print the order from this drop down menu. But you can also do bulk options as well. So if you have multiple orders, you just click on this, select all the orders that you want, and then you've got the bulk update option. So you can print them, export them, change the payment status, change the fulfillment status, or delete them. So that's the main order overview page, but there's also a few other tools that are available in here. Now, other tools that are available are abandoned carts. If you click on that, you'll be able to see all the carts that have been abandoned on your store. And then there's also an option to enable or disable your abandoned cart recovery email. You can see all of your customers and go in and see like their order history and things like that. And then you can actually go onto the order editor. This is pretty cool because sometimes people may make a mistake with their order. With this, you can come in and you can edit every part of the order. So say they made a mistake, and rather than cancelling the order and getting them to do it all again, sometimes it's just easier to come in and make a quick adjustment or an edit to the order, and you can do that from this page. And then once you're done, just click save at the top and it will save that order, and then you can go through and manage the order as you would normally. Right, so that is all the basically like the practical aspects of setting up a store. So setting up your settings, products, managing your store effectively. But next I'm going to go over the design elements and also what it's like to integrate with WordPress as well, because that's what lots of people have been asking for. So that's going to be the next section of this tutorial. So the first one is going to be using Ecwid Instant Website Builder, which used to be not that great, but they've actually added a new gen instant builder that's actually pretty cool. And to activate that, if it's not already available on your store, go to settings, click on what's new, scroll down and click on new gen instant site, enable that, and it'll bring up the new one, which looks like this, which is a very sleek looking website in my opinion. And I'm going to show you how to customize all this in a second. But once you've gone into that, what you can do is just go into website and click on edit site, and it will bring up the new editor. Now, once again, this is a new addition to Ecwid, and it is a very good addition because you can really customize the look and feel of your home page of your site. So as you can see, we've got blocks, and these are all standard blocks that are just included with the default page. So we've got your like featured products, we've got a customer's testimonial, and you can go through and edit all of these options. So for the header one, what you can do is you can go in, edit your logo, you can change your navigation menu, your contact information, you can also add custom links as well. Now if you click on design, depending on the option you select, you may be able to either hide an element, or there may be some design options available such as font size, color, things like that. You can also choose to hide it as well. And if we come out of the header, we can go through and there's options for every single section of your site. So as you can see, this is the cover section, so you can change the image, the description, your title. You can also choose what this button does. You can add a second button as well. And with these, it's just a case of going through and clicking on each individual one and changing what you need to change in order to have it so it suits your store. Now you can also choose to add additional blocks as well, and there's lots of really well designed blocks available, say for all the different sections. So you can really build a good looking custom page using the new gen instant website builder. So there's also some settings available as well. So if we click on settings, we can choose to reorder blocks, so we can drag and drop these so they sit in the order we want. Other settings include the fonts and styles, so you can change the title font and also the body text font for your site. You can also insert custom CSS code if you want to. And then there's other options like store design, which takes you to another page, which I'm going to show you in a second. You've got SEO for the front end of your site, so you can change the site title, the description, and the site image. And these same options are available down the bottom if you just click on the settings there. So that's how you go through and use the new and improved editor. It is really good and it enables you to make a really good looking homepage for your store. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to come out of that. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to go to design down here, because this gives us options for other pages on our site. So what we can do is, as it says, you can change the look of your store. So you can choose the image size that's displayed on the front end of your site. So you can have large images, you can have medium images or small ones. You can also change the aspect ratio for these images. You can also choose to darken the background image if you want, so it stands out a little bit against the background. Then you've got your product card details and layout, so you can choose where all this information displays. So you can have it in the center, or you can have it to the left or to the right, or justify it so it displays with the page. You can then also choose what you want to show and what you don't want to show in this little section here. So if you wanted to show the subtitle, you could have that here. As you can see, it appears under there. So it's up to you which options you want to appear and not to appear. And then as you scroll further down, you can choose where you want the category name to appear on your category images when they appear on the front end of your site. And then you can change the product page layout as well with a few of the default options. And this is basically where your description is going to appear. So as you can see on this one, it's below the image. So if we changed it to that one, it would appear down there. And then if we change to that one, it would actually move the whole sidebar across the left-hand side. Or you could have 3 columns, so it displays like that. It's up to you which one you want. Depends which is going to look best on your store. Then you can change how you want your gallery thumbnails to appear, so you can have it so they appear underneath as a horizontal bar, as a vertical bar, or as full-size images that you need to scroll down the page for. My personal preference is the one at the bottom. I just think it's the best looking one. And then finally, you choose what appears and what doesn't appear in the sidebar. So you can have the product name, the breadcrumbs. So if you turn that off, it removes that option from the sidebar. So it's up to you which options you want to appear on the front end of your site, but you can add and remove them just by simply checking or unchecking these boxes. And then you've got some options for the front of your site. So you can choose to collapse the categories or expand them on the front end of your store. And then there's just some show or hide options available for other areas of your store. So like breadcrumbs or sign-in link, things like that. And if you're an experienced CSS person, you can also create your own theme using CSS if you want to. But that's quite advanced and you are going to need to know what you're talking about when it comes to CSS. So that's how you go through and basically design and edit the appearance of your store using the new gen site, which is the new instant website builder from Ecwid. But what's it like to actually use this with WordPress? Because lots of people like to integrate this with WordPress, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that now. So we're going to go into a WordPress dashboard. We're going to go to plugins. When we actually click on plugins, and as you can see, I use this to test out all the WordPress e-commerce plugins. But for this, we're going to add new. And what we're going to do is we're going to search for Ecwid. And we want to install this one, the Ecwid e-commerce one. So we click install now. When it installs, what we're going to do then is activate it. Click on activate. And it'll take you through to this page, and you can either create your store from scratch or you can connect your existing store. So for this one, we're going to connect store, and for this you want to make sure you're logged into your Ecwid store on the same browser. So I'm already logged into my store. I'm going to click accept, and what it will do is it will bring in the Ecwid dashboard into my WordPress store. And when it copies over, it will automatically create a page on your WordPress site. So if we go into pages, see all the different pages I've got available, you'll actually see there's a store, the Ecwid store page. And if we go into this, we'll click on edit, you'll see that there's a block installed. This is under the Gutenberg editor. So make sure if you're using WordPress, you are using the Gutenberg editor, because it just does work a lot more seamlessly than it does with the old classic editor. And there's some options available for your store. But before we go into that, let's look at what this actually looks like on the front end of our site. So if we open this store up, click on store, you'll see we've got our Ecwid store in the front end of our site. And it looks really, really good in my opinion. And if we go into this page, we can choose lots of options for how this store actually displays. So if we don't want these category options to display, what we do is we click on this. As you can see, it brings up a lot of options, and these are very similar options to what's available in the design section within the main Ecwid dashboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose to actually remove the categories from this page. So if we click on the store front page, you'll see all the options that are available. You can see that you want with the category list and featured products, expanded categories, only featured products. Let's go with that one. So if we click that, close that page, click update, then go to the front end of our store, refresh it, you'll see that all the categories have disappeared and it's just our featured products that are available. Now, one of the awesome things with Ecwid, especially their WordPress plugin, is you don't actually need to create any additional pages, because you can do everything through this store page. So if we went onto our product that we just created and we added that one to the bag, all the checkout options are available within this single page. You don't need to create any additional pages. So if we click on the checkout, as you can see, the checkout appears. It's all contained within one page. So you don't have to create separate pages for your checkout. You don't have to create separate pages for your categories. You can navigate to them all just using this store page. But there is options if you want to create either additional pages for specific sections within Ecwid, or if you want to add Ecwid to additional pages, or you want to integrate it with blog posts. So if we actually go into Ecwid and we click on storefront, what it will do is it will bring up some options to be able to enable us to create additional pages. So as you can see, if we scroll down, we can create a separate cart page, we can create a search page, we can create a separate category page, and it will automatically do this for us. Then if we want to add it to the navigation menu, you just go through and add it to the navigation menu the way you would with any other item in WordPress. Now, I am assuming that you do know how to use WordPress already for things like setting up navigation menus, etc., etc., because this is just an Ecwid tutorial, it's not a WordPress tutorial. So this is what you can do, and then you can set the main store page for your site. But what you can also do is you can actually add Ecwid blocks to additional pages on your site. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So if we go to pages, what I do is go into home page. So say you've created the home page for your site, you've got all your content sections, but you want to add some Ecwid elements because you want to start promoting your store on the front end of your site. If you actually click on the add block option, you'll see that there's some Ecwid blocks available. And there's lots of different ones available. Some of these are widgets that will go into your sidebar. Other ones are ones you could use in things like blog posts. So you could add like a small product card if you just wanted to embed it in a blog post, or you could add something like a store category page or a large product card. It's up to you. There's different options you could add in. But if you wanted to just add your featured product, what you do is click the store homepage option, close that sidebar, click on the block, click on the store front page, and we go only featured products. Now, one of the good things is you can actually add multiple of these store homepage blocks to different pages of your site if you want to, but the options that you select here won't actually affect the main store page of your site. So if on this store page, for example, if we went in and edited this page, if we wanted to have our categories appear, so we go to storefront page, categories, and we update that one, we refresh that page. If we wanted the categories to appear on this one, but we didn't want the categories to appear on our home page, we just wanted the featured products, we can just select that one, preview this page in a new tab, and as you can see, it just selects the featured products. So you can have multiple of these store home pages blocks, and they don't interfere with each other. They're all independent, and the settings only apply to that block on that page, which is pretty cool. But overall, for the majority of sites, you don't need to actually go through and set up any additional pages. You could just add these options to like your homepage or your blog pages, set these blocks, and then have all of your store just run through the main store section, because this is going to have all of your options like my account, etc. Right, so that brings me to the end of the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful, but I'm going to have to stop talking soon because my voice is about to give out, because actually recording this video, I've currently been talking for over 2 hours straight, so my voice is definitely starting to give up. But I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it's been informative and it's given you kind of an idea how you can set up Ecwid. It is a really awesome platform to use, and the more you get used to it, the more you start testing things and you find out things to do. So as I say, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, dropping a like on it would be hugely appreciated, because it has been a lot of work to put this tutorial together. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do by buying me a coffee using the link in the description below, and that is very, very much appreciated. Also, if you haven't signed up to Ecwid yet, remember my referral link is in the description below. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you found it helpful, because I've eventually got around to actually doing this video. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.